I got the recipe, never gonna let any op get the best of me. Thought it was distance, but haters is next to me. Talk to the spirit, you know I've been heavenly. Company definitely show your trajectory. This ain't a diss cause I say it respectfully. It's time to eat up, bread like a speeder. Taking it deeper and that's how it better be. I never let the comparison get to me. I just remember the promises meant for me. I know the enemy and that he's sent for me. I keep the blood of the lemons, my centerpiece. I cannot trust in no crystals or energy. Look at the chemistry, it do not even mix chemically. Most of the tricks they be gimmicks, they mimic the truth. It's poison and we got the remedy.
Music licensing reimagined.
Apply it, defy it, can stand to the tallest of giants, the tyrant and all this.
Oh, you. How's everything? How's y'all week been going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hello. Yeah, so all week's been kind of long and drawn out pretty much. Working all week, every day this week. This is like my first day off, like, I think since like, last Sunday. So I've been pretty much like grinding it out. But other than that, it's been trying to prepare for the school year, but that's it pretty much. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, on I guess today's agenda, we're gonna talk about this definition of woke. Now, I understand that like a lot of folks have been kind of talking about like we're too woke and we shouldn't be woke and woke shouldn't exist. I mean, it kind of burns me up a little bit for people to say that because I mean I thought woke was pretty much like us being aware of what's going on, you know what I'm saying, with us. And I think our counterparts don't like that. They just pretty much think that we're like dumbasses. And I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? Like, Mimi, what's going on with y'all about that?
I agree with you, Sean, regarding woke is like, what's the opposite? Asleep.
Right.
So it's like you want us to be in a trance where we're not paying attention to what's going on. But it's like we're aware, we're paying attention. So because we're paying attention and we're aware and we start to question things and start to see things differently, it becomes a problem. They would rather us be asleep so that they can control us easier.
Okay.
What do you think, Rick?
I look at it as, especially when they try to incorporate it in political policies, I look at it as that's just them trying to say I'm racist, but I'm not racist. Because when they talking about, oh yeah, go woke or go broke, it's like, yeah, you fucking with black people, you're gonna go broke. Because just like y'all was saying, the way I look at the real definition of woke is that you're aware of what's going on around you, you're aware of your surroundings, you're aware of how the system actually is supposed to work and how you can actually benefit from it instead of going by the misleading information that's often given out to you. So now that people are becoming more aware, they are threatened by that awareness. So now they're trying to flip the script and weaponize the term into something negative when in fact it's not negative. It's just, being aware of what's going on and how to handle yourself accordingly.
Agreed. I think every time when we're quote unquote woke about like things in general that either the government's doing or like I said, our political counterparts are doing, like, they kind of scream, that woke definition is like pretty much negative and they kind of turn it against us. And it kind of bugs me a little bit, like, well, a lot of it just doesn't make any sense. Like this has been going on for years. Like they said there's a delusion about racism, like there's no such thing as racism. And we're like, the proof is in the pudding right there, but other people would have you think that's just not the case. I've, again, like, thank God I've never really been, I wouldn't say part of like the whole like cop versus like civilian situation but I mean, we've all felt like there has been some racial, like, how can I say this? Racial tension between like certain things that we've done through our lives, even like through jobs, positions we're trying to get, even like perhaps even like going out to eat or something like that. I mean, I've been in a situation like that, I remember the worst thing that I've actually like experienced a long time ago. I was with my aunt. Now, mind you, she's white, and she lived in Medford years ago, and she had took me school shopping, and now mind you, I was about, we'll say about 5 or 6 years old, and she pretty much like bought me a whole bunch of clothes, went to the register, and all of a sudden there was a lady at the register. She was white. She looked at me. She looked at my aunt. She said she wouldn't ring her up because I was with her. And she was like, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" She was like, "Oh, we don't understand how, like, why you're with him." And she swore up and down that she was kidnapping me. It was like, and at the time I didn't understand it, like what was going on. I was just like witnessing all this. But then, like about after I got out the store, we just left the shit there and left. But after I got out the store, she was pretty much telling me, she was like, a lot of white folks don't like black folks. I really didn't pay attention to racism when I was that age. Like I didn't understand it until I got a little bit older. Then I was like, okay. And I think that's what the definition of woke is. Like you're just more aware of what's going on in your counterparts, pretty much. Like you're aware of everything. And it's sad. Like as older you get, you do become woke, and a lot of people just need to understand that, regardless. So that's how I see it.
It's fear of changing the way the system is to take away the advantages that they have, and the advantages are now being shifted towards the have-nots or
Mm.
the uninformed. They're becoming informed, not at a very quick, excuse me, pace, in my opinion. But heads are aware of all of these little backdoor policies and deals and everything like that, even within our own community, like how what's going on in the hood with all of those pieces of land being sold, but they're doing it under the table where only a selective few know about it. So being woke is that you're in on that, and you're trying to get in on buying yourself a house or whatever, but you got to go through all the okey doke. Being woke is like you said, racism. First time I dealt with racism, I was 4 years old, and we got off. Back in the days, you couldn't go to Ashmont. Back in the days,
Yep.
we got off at Ashmont, me and my mom's, because she was trying to register me for school. Dudes are throwing bottles at us, white boys throwing bottles at us, calling us all kinds of niggas. My mom, she's going toe to toe with them. She didn't care. It was two white boys, and they were across the street. That West Indian blood was boiling hot. She was going off with them, cussing them out as well.
Yep.
Everything was all done. I was like, Mom, why was they doing that? She's like, because they're stupid. That was my first experience of getting woke with how stupid people can be. And then when I started grasping the concept of racism was when Roots came on for the first time back then, and seeing how people were being treated during slavery. It left me with a lot of questions like, why would people do that to one another, this, that, and the other? But then, you become more aware of why they did what they did and the benefits that they had versus the disadvantages that we had, but we were still able to find a way through it. And I think that when you teach that in schools, and they're trying to not teach that in schools, it's because of guilt, not because of it being fact. And they don't want little Tyler or Mary Sue to become woke to the real history of America and how this country has treated not only Black people, but people that just don't fit in, be it racially or economically. And it's that awareness that the old establishment is afraid of. So they're trying to weaponize that term. They're trying to limit the types of education that you get, the whole 9 yards. And that's, like I said, Ron DeSantis is on some shit where he actually in policy trying to come up with some kind of anti-wokeness, in particular policy with, excuse me, dealing with military recruiting and the soldiers in the military, because it's becoming more diverse in the military. But because of that diversity, he's looking at that as a threat because people are becoming or are woke.
Great.
Yeah, I went through a few similar situations growing up, just because not too sure if you're familiar, Rick, but The man that raised me, he was white. And he treated me as his own. But when we went other places, you know, because I had sisters, which were his biological children, they were lighter. I would definitely get treated, you know, differently. But I feel like I didn't really completely start really waking up until I started kind of standing up for um, just Black lives or self love or just like talking to my people on Facebook and all the family that was so supportive before, which was his family, some of his family, they were so disgusted with Colin Kaepernick and so disgusted with, oh, how can he do this because America did this for him? And I started realizing, like, wait a minute, he's standing up for something that is like, these are my children that he's standing up for. My ancestors, my like this, what are you talking about? So once I started realizing that, it was like, okay, this was all just some type of sheep's clothing. I was like, oh, okay. I started waking up once I realized, once you start self-loving and, oh, it's okay to love the skin that you're in. It's okay to love your brothers and sisters. It's okay to uplift one another and not just always be loving hip hop and drama and want to fight and want to kill each other, call each other kings and queens. Once that became a problem, like, oh, well, why are you saying it like that? And why you, it's okay to love one another, but they don't like to see that. So once I started seeing that they didn't like to see us come together or stand up for one another or start loving the skin that we're in, that's when I became a lot more woken up. We still have some waking up to do, but I definitely started waking up when I started seeing that they wanted us to alter the way that we looked, but then they want to take over the way that we look, you know. So that was it for me. What are you guys laughing at?
I'm laughing at what you said because it's truth. Like it's
really is.
yeah, it's all facts.
I mean, we wanted to have the straight long hair all the way down and do the blonde and do this and then go get the contacts and have the blue eyes. And, you know, then all of a sudden we're looking and they over there like Kim Kardashian talking about boxer braids. We're like, girl, that's corn braids. Like, how did you just come up with a whole new name for some braids that been out? Like, you know, or they want to get the kinky curly or they want to go get the bigger butts or it just, but
Yeah.
when we had it, is you want to make fun of it or talk about it, or it was a problem, but we didn't see it as jealousy. We didn't see it as their insecurity, and their insecurities rubbed off and became our insecurities because we thought something was wrong with us.
Yep.
So,
Just like Paul Mooney said, everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga.
All the facts.
That's what it is. They want the look, the feel, the style, and the slang of being a nigga, but they don't want the trials and tribulations going through being a nigga.
there are even some women that I know I've watched a few videos that want to have children by Black men, but really don't like Black people. They just want they said they want their children to survive. They know that this is the, you know, generation and this is like, they want their children to survive, but they don't like Black women. They don't like other Black people. So it's an agenda for them. They don't even love the skin that they're in. They're just kind of using us. And that's how it's been, using us for our creations, using us. So now that we're woken up, like, you've been using us and using our men and using the women to stand beside you until it's like, no more, we don't need you anymore. And brainwashing us and brainwashing our children in the schools. And now we're just realizing we're just being used and we had enough. So I think that's like part of being woken up as well. It's like you said, being aware and just start kind of loving yourself and loving your brothers and sisters and uniting and realizing how powerful we really are, because we're really not the minority. When we all stand together, like, we outnumber everyone else.
Yep, I definitely believe that, but I think it has a lot to do with like the psychology aspect of it and how like you said, if we stood up, like with everybody just stood up and like they was on one page, things would be a whole lot different. Like, but you even got some of our own people are just like not really trying to like hear us being quote unquote woke. They don't want to. They don't want to hear the truth because they're so used to like lies and other bullshit. Like it's easier for them to actually believe like, you know, what's been going on through the years. And you know, you can overcome this and nobody wants to, like, some people don't want to deal with it. They rather just
Some
fall
people
out.
want to stay asleep. They want to stay in that sleep is being in that dream state. You
Yep.
want to just continue dreaming in that dream state. You don't want to face reality, because once you face reality, it gets harder. It gets more difficult, because now you have to unlearn everything that you learned, and you have to see it for what it is. So people just need to realize you got to wake up. You have to download the truth, and you have to relearn. Because if you don't, you have to relearn and teach your children,
Mm.
because you want them to be dreaming for that long. Like, wake them up now. Give them an early head start.
Red pill or the blue pill.
Yep.
One will give you the harsh reality. The other one will keep you plugged into the matrix where everything is easy, plush, and provided for you, and you become another cog in the machine.
Yep. All facts. It kind of pains me to say this, but like sometimes I kind of regret on having like my kids just because of what's going on in the world as of right now. Like it seems like everything's, it's kind of like being like watered down, and like nobody is actually in search of the truth. They just care about feeling pretty much, and it honestly, it's like, I look at my kids and I'm like, damn, like I know that this person or my child has to experience this when they get older. And it's like so difficult for me to even like look at, what's going on, like what's going to go on or what may go on. Like we got people in schools right now that are actually like teaching kids sexuality rather than like, um, they can't even sing like any like Pledge of Allegiance, but yet they would implement that. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. And I think what I want to do is basically like keep my kids out of public school just because of what we know what's going on right now. So I've been like basically like trying to figure out why this is going on. And like I said, I feel like they just do not want to like have us like populate. I noticed they're like plugging it into more and more like, the curriculum, especially at predominantly black schools than it is white counterparts. And it seems like they just want to kill us point blank period. Like, well, they just want us to conform pretty much. And that's something that I've been kind of like struggling with for like the past, like, since my youngest has been born. It's been like, all right. And everyone's like, eventually they're gonna have to go to school, they're gonna have to learn these things. And I'm like, I'm choosing not to bring my kid to public school. Like I'm just not gonna do it. So
Give them the whole story, because
mhm.
they're only going to give them part of the story. So what you got to do is like, yeah, but on top of this, that, and the other, they didn't tell y'all about Tulsa, Oklahoma. They didn't teach y'all about Rosewood. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
have to teach you about it. So boom, 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 so that they can have that little piece of knowledge, and can they themselves become woke by seeing the hypocrisy for themselves? Because kids are a lot smarter than what heads want to give them credit for.
Mhm.
And one of the biggest fears is that this new generation, especially like the white kids, they're seeing the hypocrisies that's going on in this country, and as well as the ideology and the beliefs that they were taught is nothing but, self-hatred or hatred of others. A lot of those kids are starting to see that they themselves are becoming woke. So that's why, the old regime or the old school is doubling down on, you know, you guys, you black folks keep talking about slavery, stop the victim mentality, this, that, and the other. They're trying to come up with creative ways to pollute the thoughts of their children, because, whether they like it or not, their kids are going to take over one of these days.
Mhm.
They're still trying to teach them the old ways, but their kids starting to realize that, you know what, this may be the old way, but it's not right. What can we do to help these brothers and sisters out? Because I hear what they're saying. I've done research myself, and what Tyrone has been saying is actually true. Or they see what's going on in the media, and it's like, well, these guys really aren't over exaggerating with police brutality. So, I mean, they're just afraid. And a good way to hide behind that fear is by saying that, oh, you guys are woke. Like I said, to me, that's like a racist trying to be racist, but get away with it.
I agree. I agree with both of you guys. Also, it's like when you're at war with someone, what do they want you to do? It's either you're gonna conform or we're gonna kill you. like you said, Sean. So when they realize that you're going against what their agenda is, they're like, either you fall in line or you gotta go. That's why a lot of people, they say like you should homeschool your kids, but they know that that's really, really difficult to do, especially when you're working. Um, but they're gonna try to brainwash our children. So it's up to us to tell our children the truth, as Rick said. We have to let them know and just give them that extra knowledge so that they know, okay, you're gonna go to school and you're gonna be exposed to X, Y, and Z. But I want you to know the truth. So you're gonna be in life, you're gonna be somebody's gonna tell you a lie and somebody's gonna tell you the truth. And it's gonna be up to you to have that spirit of discernment. So I'm gonna give you the spirit of discernment. I'm gonna teach you how to have the spirit of discernment. I'm gonna teach you how to research. And it's up to you to continue to do your research. Don't ever take anyone's word for just what it is. No, I'm gonna go back and research this. You're not just gonna sit here and tell me that the sky is blue.
Yep.
Why is the sky blue? What color is blue? How did this blue come about? So it's just up to us to kind of just have our kids be geniuses, and just kind of like, listen, this is what it is. I see it for what it is, and just earlier than what we did. That's all. So it's a good thing that they have parents like us that are able to see that this is the truth, and we're not just following the line. If we're following the line, then those are the children that I'm scared for. The parents that are just like, okay, well, just do what they say. Just stand like this, walk like this, speak like this, do like no. When I'm not training my kid to be a robot. So we're gonna have some leaders, and that's the problem. They don't want leadership coming out of, the Black and brown community, where we start standing up. And also, they're becoming the minority because a lot of the Caucasians are starting to mix with, other races. So I believe that they're afraid of not being here in a few years. Them not having that pure bloodline, or what they think is a pure bloodline of, no African American or no Nigerian or no anything that resembles brown. It's
I've
all mixed in there.
yeah, I've heard that from a white woman. Like somebody was talking to her and she was asked, whether do you have kids? If so, like, is the father either white or black? She says she doesn't have kids yet, but she says she would rather um have kids with a black man, due to the fact that she's saying like right now her own race is basically like dying off. She was like, they've caused so much hell on earth. It's been like to a point where it's just getting tired of it. And she was like, she just would rather have like mixed children. And that does make perfect sense. And I think a lot of our counterparts are actually like concerned about that. That's why they act the way they act towards us. Even yesterday, there was a shooting at a Dollar Tree, I think, what, Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Yeah. They said it was race related, pretty much. Like,
they said like 3 black people got shot and killed
yeah,
or something like that.
yep. They said they saw this dude put on a flak jacket and he had some weapons and just went in there and barricaded the doors and started shooting the Dollar General up and killed a few black people. And that was pretty much it. And they said they had some sort of manifesto where he was actually like saying, like, he said our race is dying off. And he was like, he's saying that there's more, people of color, more than white folks nowadays. And I know that's been, from what I hear, like I've heard the same story over and over again about how, like, these white folks are kind of like trying to like hurt us and trying to like cleanse the earth of us pretty much. And I'm like, we're not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, like, we remind us of like roaches. Just because if you step on one, there's gonna be 1,000 more coming, no matter what. We're like dinosaurs. We're not gonna go anywhere.
I think that's where this gender situation, I should say. Well, I'm pretty gonna get. There's probably gonna. It's not a situation, but this gender thing comes into play as well, because they can't kill us off. But if they can have the men, I wouldn't say castrated, but if they can have the men where they're not reproducing children, and the women, everyone's opposite now. So where's the babies gonna come from? If the men want to be with men and the women want to be with women, no one's gonna go get no IVF and do all of that extra stuff. So that's another way that they can start trying to cut down, because they can't kill us, but they can start brainwashing us with, you know, or being more open to this gender thing. I feel like this is a big issue um, that's been kind of blown up, and I'm just confused as to why it's so important. And I think that that's the hidden agenda behind it.
And the biggest thing behind that is that's fueled more that by feelings than facts. And it's them trying to bend and manipulate feelings into facts, because you got people now scared of speaking out on that without being mislabeled as a homophobe. It's like, no, I'm speaking actual factuals. Who was it? TR, not TR, the one that created Harry Potter. She was
J.K.
ostracized.
Rowling. Mhm.
J.K. Rowling, thank you. She was ostracized for saying some factual stuff like, y'all ain't women. Biology says you guys aren't women. And particular portions of the alphabet community caught wind of that and ostracized her and was on a cancel campaign for her for speaking facts and calling her a homophobe and a bigot and all of that. And I'm like, make it make sense. She's speaking the truth, Y'all are not women. If you want to be called this, that, and the other, fine, but don't force me to accept that as it being a reality, because in fact, you're not. You're delusional. Sorry,
Yeah,
not.
it's they want everyone to be under the same delusion that they are, and if you're not, that's when you become a homophobic, or you become arrogant, or just all these anything negative under the umbrella. That's because you're
or
not
you
agreeing with
or you're too woke
too
Yep.
for
woke.
speaking facts. You're too
Yep.
woke for speaking facts.
Yep. That's why I always say nowadays, and I'll keep saying it, gay is the new straight, straight is the new gay. It's like right now you're pretty much being ostracized for pretty much being a heterosexual. You know what I'm saying? And I hear it every single day. It's like it feels like, that type of sexuality is more important now than anything. And it's like it's getting stupid. Like I
And
said,
the thing is, I don't think it's the majority. I think it's the loud minority that's making it hard for everybody,
yeah.
because I've known a lot of gay people in my lifetime and they were cool as hell.
Hmm.
They were cool as hell. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy.
I still know a lot, and the ones that I know, they stay in their lane. They date who they date,
Yeah.
but they're not pushing it off on no children. They're not overdoing it, and it's just like this, like you said, the loudness, and you have to believe this, and this is it, and like, no, it's really not. That you can do that, but I don't have to be a part of that. I got family members. I love you, and as long as you're not doing anything to my kids or overly, exposing them or trying to teach them a different way, just let them be themselves. Like, we're fine. It's once you start going into the schools, like we said last time, we're trying to push these agendas, or once you say something against it, it's like everybody wants to just, oh, this person needs to be blackballed, or this person needs to, like, it's my opinion on what's going on, but the facts are there's an X and a Y chromosome, and you got to choose one.
Right. Right.
You
Exactly.
don't even choose one. That's what you're assigned.
Well,
I feel
some
like
people, I
saying
guess
that's
they
what
might.
you're
I don't know
assigned.
if they got two. Some people might have like two when they're born with both parts. But yeah, that's what you're assigned. That's what.
Oh,
And the thing is, too, is what they try to base their argument on is the very few that have those anomalies where they don't have the reproductive organs, or they don't have this, that, and the other to back their argument as far as to see. That's why they're genderless. It's like, no, this woman was born with the capability to do so, but something medically is preventing her from doing so.
yeah.
That doesn't mean that she's genderless or this, that, and the other. There is just something medically wrong with her, that the equipment is not working. Flip the script back on them, like, okay, y'all are what do you call it? Y'all are heterophobic.
Yep.
Flip it back on. Y'all are heterophobic.
Yep. Like,
Yeah, I like that.
yeah,
Let's
like
keep that going.
what if we decided to actually go out and have a parade? That's what I'm thinking about. Like, what if?
They about to start throwing stones and stuff, like how Rick said they used to do in Ashmont. They're gonna start trying to throw stones.
Yeah.
We go out there trying to have a parade.
like we're straight, and it's like, all right.
Your heterophobia is showing. I'm just trying to celebrate my hetero-ness.
Exactly.
Heterophobia is showing.
Speaking of parades, yesterday, of course, was the Caribbean Festival. And I know, like, right before I guess it started, there was about 7 people got shot yesterday.
Jesus.
7 people. I'm assuming they said they caught the 2 suspects, but the thing that I'm trying to like understand is that, like, how come that they do not want to, like, they don't want to cancel it. I think the only time they did cancel it is when obviously COVID was in full effect at the time. Even when they didn't have the festival, they had the whatchamacallit, the Juve concert. They blocked everything off, but at the same time, it's these same motherfuckers that got sick in the process also. And I noticed, like, from years, like, I've been going to the festival for years. I'll tell you one fact. Even yesterday, right before I went to work, I basically had to set up a tent for my aunt because she was actually cooking over there yesterday. So she's saying that they kept saying every year around this time when she go get permits for her cooking, that they're like contemplating on canceling due to the level of violence that's been going on. What do you guys think about this? Should they like cancel it altogether, or they should just pretty much like, you know, business as usual each year? Like, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it saddens me because I'm West Indian and I grew up in the era where has just went out and had fun. You hear maybe isolated incidents here or there, but I lived on Warren Street, so I had a front row view of it as it went right by the crib, and we used to walk all the way up to Franklin Park following it, having a good time. But that's one of the reasons why I don't even go anymore, because over the years it's just gotten more and more violent. And they've been talking about canceling that thing for decades.
Right.
And it's sad because you don't hear this drama when the carnivals in Cambridge. You don't hear this drama going on in Cambridge. So why don't they, I don't know if they've done so already or not, but why don't they reach out to Cambridge like, okay, how do y'all manage this? How do y'all, you know, keep the nonsense in check? Because one of my friends who's a cop, they say that it's all hands on deck that day. Nobody gets any days off or whatever, but still people still catching the hot one. So I don't know. I don't know what the solution for that would be, to be honest, yo.
I kind of see it like this. So, by the way, I'll play devil's advocate for a second. I think last year, the year before, there was a shooting at the Cambridge Carnival and a stabbing. And what happened was, when that happened, they shut it down with no hesitation. The issue that I have with the festival itself is, like you mentioned, it's been happening for years. Like, I remember they've had people that come from all over the world to celebrate the Caribbean Festival in Boston, besides New York and Worcester, all those other in Miami, all those other places. I think, in my opinion, the reason why, and I've been hearing a lot of talks, and it's been happening for years. The reason why they haven't shut it down is because that type of carnival brings a lot of revenue to Massachusetts, particularly Boston in general. So I guess I wouldn't say with collateral damage, but they're like, all right, what's 1 or 2 people getting shot and killed, at the carnival? It's really nothing. I think last year, in the last couple of years, including this past one that happened yesterday, they revenued, or they brought home close to about a little over $3 million. So, I mean, it's not much, but it's something. But again, like, it's a cash cow pretty much. And I think that's why they're not even right. That's why they're not even willing to, like, all right, maybe we should. Even when Menino was around, like, he kept stopping it. But I know they had boats and including like the campaigns from the carnivals, like, you know, you had like a committee for the carnivals. They was pretty much advocating, like every year they go before a panel, like, you know, should we stop it? Should we stop it? Should we stop it? And it's like, no, like they're not doing it. Even Michelle Wu, like she said no. Reason why? Because it brings a lot of finances to Massachusetts, and that's why they just don't care. I think honestly, if it hurts their pockets, I think they will start to do it. But as far as that goes now, I don't think they'll do it anytime soon. I wish they did, to be honest with you.
What time does the carnival start?
It started at 12, but I know again the Juve started the night before at 12 in the morning.
So
Well,
that's what I'm trying to get to. Wasn't this really a shooting during Juve? Because it was like 7:22
It
in the
was.
morning
Yep.
when this took place. So a lot of the crimes usually happen during Juve now. It kind of calmed down during Carnival now because when the girl got stabbed or shot the other time, it was Juve.
Yeah,
It was Juve.
yeah, I
I mean,
know.
they still have crimes during Carnival, but I'm saying it's starting to happen a lot more during Juve just because it's house parties and, everyone's just out there unmonitored. It's a lot of the younger generations. It's not the older ones. The older ones is out there, to have fun and represent their country and, put up their flag. It's the younger ones that's just waiting for whoever to come outside because they know everybody's going to be outside.
Yep.
Dexter, Trevor, and Sheldon don't want no problems. They want to go out there and wind their bomb C.
Yeah, like when I
It's
was
the
young,
Javons, Rakims, and Rahims fucking it up for everybody.
Yep, all facts. Like when I used to go up there, honestly, I went up there to see the women, get the food, and just pretty much like enjoy the music. That's pretty much what it is, what it was. And that's why I'm like, I just don't really understand why like they would obviously like, I can't wait to go up there to like, hurt somebody or to shoot somebody. It's like, well, like, dude, like, what are you doing? I
Well, they
mean,
know everyone's going to be out there on
right.
that day. They know everyone. So it's like whoever you got problems with, it's like that's the day. And I'm just like, I'm not for any type of violence, but you can't catch this person any other day. Like you can't.
Right,
Is
like
that serious? 7:22 in the morning, like.
yeah.
Okay, but you don't hear about no black people getting or brown people getting shot during the winter all like that when it's snowing and blizzards. They in the house hibernating.
Black folks are in wintertime. They're like, I ain't going out. Like, I'm tired. Like,
They're like, hold on, they just planning their attack during the winter. Like, hold on, wait till summer
right.
come. Wait till summer come.
Got the weather forecast gonna be cold tomorrow, son. Let's wait until Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, let's wait because it's about to be. They said it's a little snowing. I ain't coming outside with the Sherlin on Tim's. That's too heavy to be trying to run back to the car.
That road salt be messing up my Tim's, son.
You're gonna have bunions on your feet.
Definitely the rock salt mess up the Tim's. That's horrible.
Yeah.
That is horrible.
Yeah. I just
got that line that
I honestly feel like if they canceled it, few people would be upset, but a lot of the older ones, they would understand that they probably would even go to the one in Cambridge. So they probably would appreciate the one in Cambridge just because they don't have to worry about anything. They go to have fun, eat the food, and like you said, see the women and enjoy the festivities. They're not there for all of that drama or trying to run in the crowd or
that's it.
I got time for that.
Yeah, that's it. Like I remember, like I said, people used to come up from Toronto, Jamaica, Trinidad, all of there, Haiti. They used to come, literally used to go out their way to come up. And now it's like, nah, like I'm good. Like I'm not coming. There's no need for me to come back up here. Like
at one point in time, the judges, is that what you're talking about when the judges used to come up here? I know there was some judges. I know one time I met a few judges and they was talking to me about like which carnival was the best. They used to come up here and like judge the carnivals and things like that. But they said this one gets crazy.
Yeah.
And the crazy part to me is that during carnival, I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. But for some reason, everybody got a flag and they like 7%. You're like, how much? You didn't. In school, I went to school with you this whole time. You never once your parents like now you went to Ancestry or whatever you went My DNA, and you got like 8%, 9% of something, and now you up there with the flag acting up. Like, no.
Yep. I know you.
Those are the same assholes.
I know a bunch.
Those are the same assholes that made me drop my accent when I first came up here. Heads used to tease me about that. You Jamaican? So I did what that homeboy did on that show Taxi. That dude, Andy Kaufman's character. He kept reading the Playboy magazine until he dropped his accent. I kept reading the comic book until I dropped my accent, yo. One of the things I really regret doing, man, just so I could fucking fit in.
I mean, it happens. Like,
But now you woke. Now you woke, and now you picking it back up.
Celebrating my Trinity Pride, boy. You know what's messed up too? What you were saying about the judges coming. On top of that, it's just regular people coming through. I used to have like mad relatives from Trinidad come through just to be a part of the carnival. So, you know, like Sean was saying, you got like mad people coming from the islands just for that one day. And what my mom's and her crew used to do is they used to follow it to New York, and then they followed it up to Toronto. So it's a big deal culturally because, you know, people come from damn near all the West Indies to FET. But
and one of the judges told me that Trinidad was actually one of the #1 places that had the best carnival.
Oh my God, yeah.
That it's not even, you know, she said Trinidad was one of the best places, and she was like, and no problems.
Yeah.
So she made sure she stressed that because she was talking about how there's a lot that goes on up here. She was like, with no problems. So
yeah, I envy.
I mean,
I envy the fact that sometimes when I see the carnival in Trinity, I'm like, why can't Jamaica have something like that? Because Jamaican people, I'm sorry, my people be acting like fools. Like my dad is actually full Jamaican. He said, unfortunately, he said I do not like the one in Jamaica. He said because there's either somebody trying to cut you, somebody trying to rob you and kill you all the time. And he said that's why he stopped going to the one up here. He said it's just too much. But he said the one in Trinidad, he said there's maybe like probably like a fight or two, but there's nothing that serious going on down there at all. He said everybody, enjoys himself. He was like, I kid you not. He said if you have celebrities going down there, of course, like Rihanna, Missy Elliott, like countless celebrities just go down there for the festival just to enjoy themselves, then you know you got something. I can't even remember the last time a celebrity was up here besides Bobby Brown at our festival, and that was it. Like, and I don't even consider him a celebrity anymore, but it's whatever.
Bobby's from the project, so he just came back to where he was from. He's from OP.
Yeah, like, oh, you from there? Okay, yeah, I see you.
Yeah, I remember one time I went to the Carney in Trinidad when I was a little kid. My mom's dropped me off at a friend's house, and I didn't see her for like the past, because the carnival goes like 2 or 3 days nonstop.
Yeah.
I didn't see my mom's unless she came home to shower up real quick, and then she just jetted out. I didn't see my mom's for like basically 3 days. That's how crazy the carnivals in Trinidad. I don't know if they're still like that now, because the sad part is that there's a lot of violence happening in Trinidad now. But yeah, they go 3 days hard. And my mom's just disappeared. She's like, going out the Fed, boy. Come back, shower up. I going back out. So yeah, that and I heard the one in Brazil is off the hook too. The carnivals in Brazil are off the hook too.
Yeah, that's yeah. Like I don't.
I wouldn't be mad if they just had the one in Cambridge, and people just had to go. And
I mean, I think they will eventually. They won't stop it. Like I said, I told you that one incident they had a couple of years ago at the what was it, last year? I think, yeah, at the festival in Cambridge, they shut it down with no problem. Like they was like, you know what, we can't have this. And again, you got to understand, like, where is it located? It is in Cambridge, but I would say the majority of people who live in that area are white anyways. But we also do have like black folks live in that area too as well. But I do know, like, you're in a white area, predominantly white area, so like, they're gonna be on their shit. They're not gonna have that. And I remember, like I said, back in the day when we used to go to the one up here, around here, I mean, it don't even smell good anymore. Like I remember I used to just go up there and we used to just smell nothing but like good food and good drinks. It's just nothing. It's not fun no more up there. It's like me and my daughter went up there last year and we got food, but it just wasn't the same because it wasn't that same feeling you had when you was a child. Like it's just not fun.
Out there smelling chlamydia, Black and Miles, and Newports and weed,
right?
Instead of smelling roti
and whoever was partying at Juve that didn't go home and wash their ass yet, they just back out there with them same fishnets and stuff.
Yeah, that's nasty. All facts. Ooh, child.
Listen here, they be having that paint still left on them. You like that mean you didn't go home and wash that? Right. You didn't wash that ass yet because that's Juve paint.
Right, like You've been out here since what, 6 a.m. or 12 a.m. and it's now what, 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Nah,
That's like you could go. You all right? Go home for a second. You will not be missed like that. There's plenty of asses to see and food to eat to keep people occupied.
Yeah, the expiration date done reached on your shit. Let's go. Refresh.
Like, I know
You
you
over there with
said
your 7% flag anyway. Over there with your 7% flag. Like you can go home and wash your ass.
It's like now you
Take a break.
Right?
like, back in back in the day, honestly, I used to see a lot of white folks come up here too and actually get food and experience the music. Now, I don't see one white person unless they're a cop up here now, like just like camping out pretty much.
They
So
smart.
One of the women that was shot, was there a white person shot?
I don't know.
By
That's the
any
thing.
chance?
I'm not
I
sure.
They would
could have
have shut
heard
that shit down.
misinformation.
They would have shut that shit down if it was a white person that got shot. That shit would have got shut
Well,
down
I
like
probably heard some misinformation. I didn't dig too deep. I heard that it was, but who knows?
he was probably light skinned.
They would have shut it down for Sarah. You right.
He was probably light skinned.
Yeah, coolly.
You know what's messed up? I saw on Facebook, heads was beefing during a carnival. And when I read the comments, they was like, yeah, what about Orgo that's laid out? I went back and sure enough, there was like a female laid out in the gutter.
Oh man.
Well, these other fools in the background were beefing and heads on bikes were just rolling on by like, And I'm like, damn. This chick is laid out, spread eagle, and dudes on the bike rolling by like shaking their heads. I'm like, this.
Read her FaceTime stuff.
They were young, of course.
Yeah, of
They were
course.
them youngins. You ain't seeing Sheila and Bertha and them fighting like that.
I'm tired of it, Bertha.
Bertha knows how to act.
Not Bertha.
Nah,
Bertha, with a name like Bertha, you better know how to act. You've been here a few years. Oh yeah, you've been here a few lifetimes with Bertha.
You done? Go get a plate after.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Name sound kind of hungry. But yeah, also I want to touch on the subject about like, when's the last time you guys been to the actual movies?
I went to the movies to go. I think I took my daughter. The last one I seen, I think, was Barbie. I took her to go see Barbie.
Okay.
Did you just get upset? It looked like you about to put your hand on your head when I said Barbie. Like you were stressed out.
No. My daughter seen it. She said she's.
I believe that's the last time I went to the movies.
Yeah, I went a couple of weeks ago. I seen a horror flick. But
oh yeah, you told me.
Yeah, but I noticed, and I've been like even my daughter was kind of like talking about this too. She was like, why the movie theater is so empty? And I said, in all honesty, I hate to say this, but I think it's also because of like some of the movies haven't really been that great, and also some of the I feel like social media, the media itself, and the apps, they've been kind of taking people away from the movie theater. You know what I'm saying? As far as them, like, honestly, like sometimes most of the time you don't even have to like leave the comfort of your own home to actually watch a new movie half the time. You can like watch it on TV now. Right. And I think, in my opinion, I think I'm gonna give it a couple of years. I have this feeling that the movie theaters are gonna be closed. And I'm also thinking about the writer's strike that's going on also these days. Like right now, like there's a standstill because of what's going on with the writers. They haven't got paid any residuals. Some of the movie quality is pretty bad. I don't know if you guys pay attention to TV like right now, but they're showing a lot of reruns of things. It's because they're on strike pretty much. And
one of the biggest things too is that the revenue that's generated from streaming services, they're getting none of that. They will probably get like one fee, and then that's it. That's one of the biggest reasons why they're on strike. The writers, the actors, or what have you. Like you said, streaming, that's going to be the future. And the studios is pretty much getting all the money from that.
Yep.
And the creators are getting nothing. No royalties, no nothing. So that's another reason why they're on strike.
Yeah, it's sad, to be honest with you, because honestly, what person doesn't want to like to be entertained? And I think the entertainment industry has to find a way to kind of like, like, all right, we got to pay these people and we need to put out better movie quality. I'm not gonna lie, some of the movies that I've seen in like the last like few years, it's been like, it's been like pretty terrible. Like you can almost tell like the writing hasn't been that great, like in like certain people's work. Like it's just been all right. Like what else are you gonna give me? I haven't been impressed with a lot of movies in the past couple of years. I'll be honest with you. Women TV shows. I think the last good TV show I watched so far was Snowfall, and that was it. Yeah. Um. Yeah.
No,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's been like I said. I think
I know one thing. When I went to go see Barbie, and it wasn't even like something that I was interested in seeing. I didn't even see the previews for it or anything. It was just something my daughter and her friends kind of wanted to see for her birthday. So I'm like, okay, let's just go. And the previews were very explicit. The
mhm,
previews were crazy before we even got to the movie. It
mhm,
was a lot of sexuality. It was just like, this is crazy. But the movie theater was packed. For the Barbie movie, it was definitely packed. I guess because it spoke to everyone. They were like, brown Barbies, Asian Barbies, the men, and then in the movie theater we had men that thought they was Barbies and not the tin ones. So that movie theater, it was definitely packed for that particular movie.
Those are
But
Bobby.
I agree with you that you can just you can just use the Fire Stick or use different apps like that or whatever and kind of just get some snacks. And I also think it's a comfortability thing.
yeah,
And sometimes people are talking about, these movie theaters aren't really sanitary and then things pop off in the movie theater. So I think especially since COVID, a lot has made people be more introvert and it's harder to be social sometimes. So if they can find things to do in the comfort of their home, I think that's the option that a lot of people are going with,
yeah.
just in general, with everything that's going on.
Yeah, I honestly, I'd rather be home watching a movie theater. I'm sorry, movie, due to the fact that sometimes the movies probably haven't been that great to buy. Pretty much, it's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure when you go to the movies, you come out, you be like, what the hell did I just watch? And I paid for this shit, like you know what I'm saying. And I think if you're watching at home, you have an option whether to like, all right, I ain't watching this like right now, or better yet, like I'm kind of glad I didn't spend my money on it. Pretty much sometimes. So
Two of the big reasons. One, it may not be that big, but I know it's had an impact. Is them theater shootings, them heads is
uh
really be shooting people in the movie theaters. Because I know someone, a close friend of mine, at one point he was anointed to go watch, I think it was Dark Knight Returns or one of them movies.
mhm.
The other reason is you're paying an arm and a leg for a freaking ticket.
Yeah.
You got to pay an arm and a leg for a ticket, and the refreshments you're paying an arm and a leg. They bottle of water goes for like $5
Mm-hmm.
in a movie theater, and it's not like a big jug or whatever.
Yep.
One of the mini bottles for
Well,
five.
16 ounce. Right.
So that's the other reason why heads don't want to go. It's just too expensive,
Yeah.
and you can also watch what you want to watch. Not even through legit streaming services, but through torrents.
Yep.
You can watch it that way. And Anthony Mackie himself said, "Yo, I'd rather watch movies at home than go to the theater because you can pause it, go get you a little drink, come back, pause it, go to the bathroom, come back. It's just more convenient. It's more economically sound. It's safer, and the quality is like you said. Why the fuck I pay for this? You could just turn it off
Yeah.
and not have to sit there to watch it because you paid money for this ticket."
Yep. Yep. Keep it moving. They're all facts. All facts. And I could play devil's advocate because I used to work at the movie theater, so I know, um, the reason why like the snacks are so much. It's because like you're pretty much paying for the people who work there. Like they're paying their salaries. Like when you buy those snacks, popcorn, nachos, all that shit. You're pretty much paying for their salary. everybody used to assume that, when you work at the movie theater, you're gonna be paid a pretty good amount. And I'm like, nah, like all that money that you pay for those movies doesn't go to us. It goes to all the studios, it goes to all the actors. Why? And I'm like, why do you think on the weekends, if you ever watch the news, they'll be like, oh, the Dark Knight Returns, raked in a whopping $200 million over the weekend. And it's like, okay. Like we get it. Honestly, before I even started working, honestly didn't know that. Like now I'm knowing and I'm like, damn. But like you said, you can even pause a movie, go in the kitchen, grab a bite to eat, come back, sit down. You have the option to not watch it if it's not appealing to you. And it makes perfect sense. So that's why I feel like movie theaters in general, they're going to be kind of like played out soon. They pretty much ran its course because all that equipment that they watch the movies on, like they cost a shitload of money, for them to even like have like $1,000 in those projectors. It's not like the ones we used to see where you used to have to put the roll on and hope for the best. Like them things on hard drives now. So those hard drives, those projections are like over 20 grand a piece. Like them things are pricey as hell. So and we're not even talking about the IMAX movies. Like them things are pricey as hell. I think in New York, it's like $20 a ticket to even go to a movie, and it's like Jesus for real. Like for what? You're gonna if you and your family go out to a movie theater right now, you're spending probably at least $100 plus. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's just you, your wife, your kids, and everything, and we're not even talking about concessions. So it makes perfect sense. And I'd rather have again, I'd rather be in my own home to watch movies than like to be outside. So it's whatever. Like it makes sense. It makes
Do
perfect
you think
sense.
heads are getting superhero movie burnout as well?
What's that?
Do you think heads are getting superhero movie burnout as well?
I think so because everybody nowadays, and I'll be honest with you, even the ones that are like superhero heads, like myself, it doesn't seem the same anymore. It's just getting exhausting. Like it's like, all right, like what else you can provide? Even as of late, I feel like arguably right now, Marvel has been like hasn't been that great to watch. Yeah, it's been going down. And it's like, shit, should I just go back and watch some reruns of Punisher or Daredevil or something like that to make me feel good? And now it's just like terrible. And you already know the DC movies, like every time you watch a DC movie, everybody's gonna like critique it somehow and make it like, all right, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. Every movie that I've watched so far, that's all I've been hearing. Doesn't matter what it is that comes from DC. Even if you think that one of the DC movies are like really good, somebody's always gonna critique it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's always a bad film. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
You
So
know what's messed up too? Black Adam, The Flash, those movies were good.
yeah, I thought so
They,
too.
they were pretty solid, but they bombed in the box office
Yeah,
because people ain't going out to see the movie. Said they're saying that's what's happening with Blue Beetle, and I heard that's a good movie. But to your point, people just aren't going to the theaters anymore to see it.
yeah, that's right. Like, and I know that again, like since I've been working it, I got friends that are still like, high ups and managers, and they were trying to come up a way to actually bring people to the movies, and they're like, there's really not much you can do. Like you don't own HBO Max, you don't own Hulu, you don't own Netflix. There's not really much you can do. Like even
They
like
even have that a special for like $5 on Tuesdays if you're a member, and
yeah,
people still aren't going.
that's right, that's facts. They're like, shit, I got my little food stamps. I can go in the kitchen and make some food. And you know what I'm saying? Sit my ass on the couch and watch some movies. Like, I'm good.
And
Like,
Rick is right. The food is so pricey. Like this, even the candies and stuff like that. They $7 for a box of freaking Sour Patch Kids. You're like, seriously? You got like 8 Sour Patches in here. You
right.
know, the chicken tenders is like, for a plate of chicken tenders is what, $15, $16. They give you like 3 strips and 4 fries. And you're like, for real?
Yep. Yep. And then
Box
So,
raisin, that's shrunk. I was riffing when I went to go see what was that movie? Black Panther 2.
mhm.
I was riffing to my wife. I was like, yo, look how small
crazy.
this box of Raisinets is, and we paid like $8 for this
And I
moment.
love me some Raisin Nuts. And yeah, yeah, it's
You peep how
crazy.
small they got now?
Yes, I did. You be
You going to
shaking it.
like,
You like, hold on, I can hear all y'all moving. Y'all got you count them by just shaking it. It's like a few in there. They rolling back and forth in the box all loose. It ain't even full.
you know what I'm saying? Paying $8 for 25 Raisinets,
If that,
right?
if that.
Yep.
Yes, the prices is crazy.
Hmm. Yep. Like I said, I know, like I said, I wouldn't break my neck to go to movies anymore, unless there's something that really catches my attention. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, even if that's a stretch, because
You
you're
can
kind
just
of
I
like
wait
mean,
like about a month or two and it'll be on your favorite streaming platform. The
that,
turnaround time ain't that long no more. So
right?
wait it out.
sometimes you don't even have to wait that long. Some of them on certain apps it says now playing in theaters, and you can
Yep,
watch it.
that's
Like
true.
Yeah.
Blue Beetle's already on some of the apps. You get what I'm saying?
Digital.
And I think the movie theater is cool when you like, for instance, my sister did it for my son. Sorry, I'm over here. It's cold outside. Um, rent out the whole movie theater.
Hmm.
If you rent out the whole movie theater and then you have like, your peoples come through and y'all just got y'all snacks or whatever, like we brought our own food and everything in there. I think that's pretty cool. Sometimes they have discounts where you can rent it out for like $3.50 or whatever. Everybody put in a couple of dollars, but you rent out the whole theater. So however many people you want to come, just a couple of dollars, but you guys get to watch the movie all together. I think that's the fun part. But other than that,
Yeah.
y'all can come right here. I'll cook y'all some food. We can make our own nachos. You can have a big nacho platter and all the chicken that you want right here.
Yep. Just
I'll
like
bring a
the
bottle or two
just
through.
like the movie The Matrix, the last Matrix that came out. I remember everybody was like excited to watch it, and then when when I'm like, my sister-in-law had invited all of us to watch it at her crib, and we went over there and we was watching. I'm like, dude, like this is not even a great film. Like, why am I here? And I'm like, I am glad that I did not go see that at the movie theater. I was even about to buy tickets for it in advance, and I'm like, God, thank
But
God.
once they switched what was it, the producer, and someone else took over
I think the
The
same
Matrix.
people, the Wachowski brother and sister, I think now.
Nah, they were brothers, but now they're sisters.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
And
all right, all right. I'm out the loop.
so
I'm out the loop.
it wasn't the studios that switched, it was their gender that
Yeah,
switched.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
One of them became, yeah, one of them
No,
became
both of them.
trans. Both of them did. Okay,
Both of them,
I
yeah,
didn't know
because
that. Oh shit.
I was watching when it first came out. I watched it on a streaming service, and I was watching the information as far as to watching see who the cast is and all of that.
Hmm.
And I'm like, who are these chicks? I'm like, it must be that their sisters may have taken over. But then when I went
Uh-uh.
online, I was like, oh,
So
because if you peek
wow.
too, right, since they transitioned, they're saying that you remember the sentiment behind it was supposed to be religious
Yes.
and you liken Neo onto Jesus or what have you.
Uh-huh.
Now they flipped the script and saying that they was actually talking about transgenderism back then. And I'm like, well, fuck it. If that's what the creators want to say it was, then that's what it was. But they said before it was referencing the Bible, but
Oh,
now they're saying nah, it's referencing transgenderism.
that's
I'm like,
terrible. Well,
they're the creators, so
right.
that's how it shall be done.
Right. I mean, the first film was brilliant. I loved it. I don't care what nobody say. Like, I really enjoyed that movie.
That show was overrated.
You think so?
Yep.
I thought the last three were overrated, in my opinion.
I mean, the whole thing. I like the concept, and I remember when I used to say that back then when it came out. Well, maybe you don't. No, I understand it. It's
Yeah.
just it's not as dope as you think it is because they overthought it.
Hmm.
Especially with the second and third one,
Yeah.
they really overthought it. It's like, are you serious? What
Hmm.
the fuck's going on? He was
Yeah.
the and they were those?
Yeah. It just wasn't. I'm like, I was like, I can't watch this anymore. It's whatever.
So I think I'm getting mixed up with. I just had to look it up. Sophia. I don't know the last name. I just scrolled by. I guess she was like the writer of like the third Eye Matrix. It was a black woman. And I thought that's where the original Matrix ideas came from, and then they kind of started doing their own thing from there.
So I heard that also. I also heard that she also was the creator of the Terminator.
Terminator.
Yeah, but I also think, if I'm not mistaken, I do remember her going to court, and I think they found it that she apparently wasn't, if I'm not mistaken, like she wasn't the one that created it, but she
But
had a,
then
I
I
remember
I
she
don't
had
know
a
why
book about it.
I
you
heard
would
too
go to
with
court
that
if you're
though.
not even the one. That's confusing.
All right.
But I heard too with that though is that they changed the venue for the case,
Ah,
because what she's saying is that she sent the idea to Universal. They rejected her, but still used it anyways. But I think she lost the first one, and then when they appealed it, I think they changed the venue. I don't know if she won it or not though.
yeah, I don't think she did. I don't think she did because I remember somebody was like saying that she was a fraud and da 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 da. But I remember reading some of the books she wrote about it. It was honestly, I feel like it was very accurate. I feel like I feel like, in my opinion, she actually was the one that created those stories. And like you said, and the thing is, it's not the first time that Hollywood's done those things to people. Like they would tell you like the stories that you're
Of
like
course.
giving them right are terrible. The next thing you know, you see your idea pop up in the movie. Like what the what?
They
Like
did,
what?
they did it to Bruce
So that's
Lee.
why I thought the
Yeah.
Matrix tag out was like whack afterwards. I was like, maybe it's because they started trying to kind of build off of her stories, and they were not the original writers of the story. So it
Mhm.
started going in a whole different direction. Because I actually enjoyed the Matrix in the beginning. Then afterwards, I'm like,
Yep,
okay,
I
y'all was
did.
doing too much.
Yep.
Just the last one, I was just like, okay, like y'all tried,
That's what I'm like. Yeah.
and I feel like you failed.
I was like,
Yeah,
whoa.
I got up so many times when I was done watching a movie. Like if you don't catch my attention and there's something wrong, I had to get up a few times. Oh, let me go get this. Let me go do this. You start washing dishes and just stuff you ain't even supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It
I watched
wasn't.
that shit on Max, or
It
back then
wasn't all that.
HBO Max,
Yep.
and I was about to call Xfinity up demanding a refund, even though I watched that shit for free.
Mm.
That movie was honestly, I fell asleep on that joint.
Yep.
Mark was like,
Yeah,
yo, yeah, I was like,
yeah.
huh? Yeah, okay, till all of one.
I did a few times. I don't know if I still don't know if I got through the whole thing. I'm trying to think. I know I fell asleep a few times watching it a few times.
I did.
Exactly.
I didn't. I just got up to where like
I was like, okay, this is not
he's seen his
it. If I
brother.
can't stay awake,
Yeah,
That rarely happens, but I was calling hogs, and my wife was like, "Yo, you good?" I'm like, "Huh? Yeah, okay. They there yet?" Horrible, horrible.
But yeah, so we going to wrap it up, and we can definitely reconvene next next Sunday, and we can come up with some more topics. Yeah, we out. It's a pleasure having you guys.
I'll be
all
safe
right,
and have a good
fellas,
week.
blessings.